This car sits near and dear to my heart. I personally owned one for a bit over 4 years, and I learned just about everything about what I needed to learn about the automotive community, the build process of an older classic, and just why people LS swapping the world. Because hey, if you drop an intake valve after driving a freshly built motor after 20 miles, at least it's not that expensive, right? I'm Alex at FI on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about one of the Japanese classics of the car scene. One of the cars that I described as both one of the best and worst JDM cars to own, which just confused a lot of people. It's like the crown royal of the car scene and has systematically become one of the go-to cars for design inspiration when it comes down to the coupe cars of the world right now. This is the car that spawned from a loss from Porsche in the Japanese Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna be talking about the one, the only, the Datsun 240Z. Jumping into this, welcome. If you haven't yet, because of commitment issues, I would politely ask that you subscribe so we can keep making banging videos like this. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to check out fitmentindustries.com, where we literally have everything. Plus, we got a giveaway with Kansei Wheels going on right now for the month of January. Pick up one of these t-shirts or send in a postcard, gets you automatically entered in to win. There'll be a description link below. That is all of the plugs I could possibly offer. Anyway, let's go. The Datsun 240Z was an iconic tuner car that was introduced to the market back in 1970. Datsun, which had been originally introducing budget-friendly sports cars, wasn't really new to the game. They had success with the Fairlady 1500, the 1600 Sports, and even the 510, which was aka the poor man's BMW. That was also a banger. Yutaka Katayama, the then president of Nissan Motors, began working with designers and engineers like Yoshihiko Matsuyo to try and create a more coupe style car that would be easier to get into the market versus a roadster which had began to lose popularity. The result was an all new design with a 91-inch wheelbase, 4-wheel independent suspension, disc front brakes, a few other goodies to top it all off. And to keep costs down, Datsun sourced plenty of the parts from the 510 sedan that they had already made to save on just pretty much overhead. Just another reason why prices right now on these cars just make me a little bit sad. The car was marketed in Japan as the Fairlady Z, and it had a pretty baby 2.0 liter inline six for the time. However, for the first time ever, it felt like United States finally got something that was slightly better than Japan, because we got the 240Z, which was introduced back in 1969 and a 2.4 liter inline six, which had Hitachi variable cams, 151 horsepower, and a jean jacket for you to pose up next to the fender with. The single overhead cam and a 4-speed manual made it the perfect car to combat the impending EPA being a bunch of buzzkills in the 70s. And although the 240Z had some different series in the beginning, the overall car was quite the successful little coupe. It would decimate the East African Safari Rally, which is probably one of the worst events you can put a car through. Back in the 70s, that shit sucked. It was a 5-day grueling hot-ass day that kept the car on both pretty much average speeds of 60 miles per hour, and it was off-road for pretty much all of it. We can barely drive the E 35 days a year. Whole lot of gang shit. It would win multiple classes and put it on the map as a car that wasn't meant to be just an affordable sports car, but a durable coupe car that could really hold its own against the competition. This car was being like the Porsche of its time at a fraction of the cost. It would win every race, and it would just destroy all competition. It got so popular that dealerships kept marking up the car like 200 to 300% because the cars were only $3,500 at the time. They made them like 7,000, all right? And you could be 6 foot and still sit and have space. And as the EPA continued to crack down on the big, heavy, large motor V8s of the time, the Datsun 240Z continued to thrive. Fun fact for the good old garage talks out there, because those happen, the car was originally introduced and imported as the Datsun 240Z Fairlady. Mr. K knew the car would not do well with that name and said it was a kiss of death for the success of the brand because America is known for being burly, manly, and stuff, all right? He personally went and removed the Fairlady badge from every car in the initial shipment of 240Zs to the United States because he didn't want that name to be associated with it. Bonus point, the Fairlady name came from the play that Nissan's then president went to go see called My Fair Lady, which is usually a pretty common fact. He fell in love with the place so much that he wanted to use the name somehow in a vehicle somewhere. He took that to his customer car sales representatives in Japan who would hire the pretty ladies, you know what I'm saying? To help individuals pull the trigger on their new Datsun purchase. These female sales representatives would be called Miss Fair Ladies. You're welcome, San Diego. The car would be upgraded to 260Z in 1974 and increased to a 2.6 liter for 260Z, get it? 240Z, 2.4, 280Z, 2.8. Not very creative. And it continued to kind of get hindered by some EPA-ness that was happening in the mid-70s, but it still carried the iconic style that Mr. K envisioned back in the late 60s. The car would get easier to understand with its interior controls that would just be about it. The 280Z would fall shortly after that and behind the 260Z, which was the last series of the 240Z being in the US market. EPA was being a downer, bud, because why have fun, right? 280Z had the 2.8 liter, which was a fuel injection system, had good old classic impact bumpers. The 280Z would have some more upgrades, but nothing really too major. There were some small things that changed or increased over time, but not much. Most people, the 240 through 280Z look awfully similar. Many individuals wouldn't really even notice the difference between the three once you pop off the impact bumpers. Because that's just how it goes, brother. The 240Z was truly a halo car. It allowed people to get into racing affordably. It was practical. It looked good. It ran laps around cars 50 times the price, and it was insane, all right? But we're not here to talk about history. We're here to talk about you wanting to own one. Because you guys are wondering why I call them the best and the worst. So you want a Datsun 240Z. Well, set down that 10mm that you're inevitably going to lose 42 times while working on this car, and grab your favorite pair of pants that you'll inevitably ruin because oil is just everywhere in these cars, and let's just jump into it. The Datsun 240Z is a car that is a complete head turner. It always has been. Pull up to a gas station and you likely have not just 16-year-olds asking you what the hell they're looking at, but 40-year-olds wanting to tell you a story about them racing their 240Z against the Camaro back in the day during lunch break in high school. These cars were so influential in the 70s that the boomer generation of they just love this car. It attracts a massive amount of attention just about anywhere it goes. But that doesn't mean that it's boring just because old people like it. Old people, but they're not old, okay? They're just slightly older than us, okay? They're still good. They had independent suspension though, which allowed people to jump into coilovers the moment you buy one, which is usually PC coilovers. Not only that, but the design has stayed just so absolutely like Subway fresh that the cars look so good now with just some new wheels and tires that fill the wheel well. Wheels go everywhere from your typical NKs to your Volks, Tar Racings, even your Watanabes. Tires are really pretty much Toyos mostly, and pretty much anything that people can run a 10 wide on. The good news is about these cars, everything is mechanical. If you manage to catch one with the original inline six, you'll actually see the heartstrings of the operation every time you press the gas. You'll see it in the carbs. It's just a cool, visceral experience. But there are a few small issues with the good old 240Z, which is why these have a little bit of a tough time in my heart. Okay, first off, they were built to be an affordable sports car. Affordable sports car. Affordable. 40 years old now. This one is, okay? And ain't it a little bit of an oversight to forget that one, okay? These cars have been through absolute hell. Most of them have been rusted out so badly that they're just impossible to restore, and they'll sit in a junkyard until they inevitably just go away. If it's not the floor pans, then it's usually the fenders. And if it's not the fenders, then it's usually the hatch. And if it's not the hatch, it's probably something else. The car was never really meant to be this timeless machine. It was built to get in as many enthusiast hands as possible. You can expect that if you snag one for under 15K, you're gonna be battling the good old, damn, that car is old battle almost every single day you drive it, because it also has a finicky motor, which has some pretty limited aftermarket support. The R180 diffs don't like to stay alive. Wiring has aged, and Datsun engineers just came out with odd ideas when it came down to wiring harnesses. Window cranks deteriorate, hatches start getting misaligned, and just above all else, the car can just be tired. Jumping into one of these is a tricky thing to do. They're expensive now, which means you're pressing a hefty penny to actually have a naturally older car that isn't too quick. It's kind of like an air-cooled 911. They look fantastic, but they don't always behave fantastically. To own a 240Z is to own a piece of history that requires you to get your hands dirty because nobody else is going to be able to. It doesn't ask for your help, it demands your attention as soon as you drive it. It's a car that sits as one of the most iconic cars because it did one of the most unique things in the automotive industry. It supplied a driving experience that was worth vastly more than the price tag that was initially attached to it. Nowadays, prices have caught up and age have made them a peculiar car to own. But if you can snag one at a good price and you're willing to put POR 15 in just about every single piece of the interior frame and restore the body and paint the whole thing over again, you'll love it. I loved mine, even with the 355 supercharged V8. The car was a Lego, and it was the reason that I get to sit in front of all of you every day. And for that, I cannot thank the car enough. So maybe I should just buy another and call it good. Anyway, what do you think of the Datsun 240Z? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to check out fitmentindustries.com. You should just get a t-shirt that has that all the time. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. We will see you later. Peace.